So I see that there's just a tiny bit of glare from my lamp. I was showing that to my husband the other day, and he said, well, we could put a new lamps up in the ceiling, so maybe we'll do that this fall. So we are using, for this project, some of my black and white. I have a set of geometrics and a set of florals. They come 24 to a pack. You get 6 different patterns. Let me see, there you go. You get 6 different patterns, so you get 4 of each design with these, and they're in my shop. And then we're also using my toner sheets, which are fabulous because that way you get double duty out of your foil. So I'm going to move my laminator. I think it's hot enough. So I'm going to get this started right away, and then I'll talk about the card. So I'm going to use, I wasn't sure, like for this card, I used the leafy pattern, which worked perfectly for the pumpkin. But you could use any of them, and I used some other ones that I'll show you. But I think I'm going to do the leafy one again. And I'm going to use, now Decofoil comes in all sorts of colors. I think they have, I don't know, like 40 or 50 different colors. But I'm going to use this bronzy color to show you. And I always put it in a carrier sheet, which is just a piece of copy paper. And I run it through my laminator. So that's what we're creating if you just joined us. And the die we're using is actually from Stamplerations, and it is a fabulous die. I have a full one cut here. Let me see if I have a piece of white cardstock to put it on so you can really see it. So this is the die we're using. It is a beautiful die, and I wanted to capture just that pumpkin. I always run my foil sheets through twice. I just have better results that way. You might be fine doing it once, but I know with my laminator, it's a Royal Sovereign, inexpensive, under $30. I always run it through twice just because I do get better results that way. Now, last year for a live that I did in September or October, I used this same die, and I created this card. And what I did was I cut the die out and I used it as a stencil to create this card. So you have that stencil-y look. And I did a second one where I did it as a stencil, but I put the black cutout on top of it. So I wanted to use just the pumpkin this time because I love it so much. Now here's where the magic is for those of you that may not have seen foiling before. See, it comes out, you use a hot laminator. So if you have, mine is a hot and cold, so turn it on hot. And I let it set up for about 20 minutes, but it only set up for about 10 minutes this time. So I'm happy it turned out. Look at that beautiful, you see how pretty that is? So this can be used as a, for a card or for any project you want. But you can use the waste or what's left. What I like to do is I like to take it and run it through the laminator all by itself to make it flatter than it is, because sometimes there's, well, you could see it was all wrinkled. Well, I don't want those wrinkles to show up, but if they do, it's not a bad thing, because what I did this pumpkin out of was from, you can see here, like this sheet. You can see where there's lines here that really don't belong here. And those lines are, wait 1 second. Sorry about that. Those lines were from the foil crinkling, or maybe there was something that just happened, but I save all of these to use them in different projects. And I used a piece like this for my pumpkin. Now I ran this through all alone, and see, it comes out more flat than it was. And then I just move that out of the way. I'll just take the black toner paper and put it right on top of that foil. So the shiny side is up, the pretty side is facing up. And I'm going to run that through, and I'm going to run that through twice also. So like I showed you, these are the ones that I did last year. And I just thought that pumpkin was so awesome. I wanted to try and do a paper piece pumpkin. So I'm going to show you exactly how I did that after I'm done with this foil piece. And of course, I generally always run it through twice. I'm just going to run this one through once. Well, no, honest. I always feel better if I do it twice. So I am going to do it a second time. So I'm going to show you, this is what the die looks like all together. And what I did was I cut the pumpkin out of here. So you do that very carefully, and you have this beautiful outline to use in this project. Okay, this is almost all the way through. It's like that impatient part of just finish up. I'm going to move my laminator out of the way. Okay, so this is where the magic of the black toner paper comes in. See how nice and flat that is? See if you can see that, nice and flat. And then it uses up all of that foil, and you get 2 pieces with 1 piece of foil, which is awesome. So for this, I used the ones with the all over foil because I wanted my pumpkin full, but I'm going to show you one where I used this also. So I'm going to show you that one first. So I had taken a piece of my geometric cardstock, which is this one with just the circles, and I had used some of my glacé watercolors on it, and I just colored the whole thing with my glacé watercolors. I was just playing around one day, blending colors. My glacé watercolors are heat set, so if you don't want them to blend, you can heat it and you'll have nice crisp lines, but I was just blending and playing with them. And with these sheets, you can foil even after you've watered color, or you can foil first and then watercolor. And I put a silver on top of this. So I used a little tiny piece of this, and this was my first thought when I was doing this project. So I took just a section of that die and I cut just the pumpkin out. I used just a little tiny piece of paper. And after I did that, I thought, oh my goodness, this would make such a cute pumpkin too. Once I trimmed it down, because I loved all of those colors. And then you could fill it in with a different color. So I need to watercolor another one to do that because I really like how that turned out. But I had already cut a bunch of black ones out. And right here, I cut a copper one out. But I had all of these black ones that I had prepared. And then after I saw that one, I thought, oh my goodness, maybe I want a color instead. So I'm going to show you how I did the pumpkin before I put those pumpkin pieces on there. So here's the die, and I ran it through. And let me see if I can turn this without all the pieces falling out. So this is where I get my pieces of the pumpkin. And I just use a little pokey tool to gather all those pieces of the pumpkin. And a lot of these little extra ones are from the little areas that I don't need. But when I was doing this, I noticed on here, I wanted, if you can see, I wanted these two pieces of the pumpkin because that's actually part of the back part of the pumpkin. So I very carefully poked out those two to keep those. There's one, and there's two. So this might be a little putsy for some people, but I think the results are just so beautiful. It's not that one. And then all of the rest of this, like I have the stem in there. So I would keep the stem for another project. I wouldn't put a copper one with this one necessarily. If I wanted to keep the inside of the stem. And they're just like little tiny pieces. You just have to know which part you're saving. So once you do it once, it's easy to keep all of those little extra pieces and know, like I know the pumpkin has these 5 pieces and the 2 little pieces. And that's exactly what I need. And for the stem, that's the part of the stem you would keep, and there's leaves here too. I have a gold stem here. And what I did was I always save all those little pieces of foil. And for those of you that have been watching us for a while, you know I save all those little bits and pieces. Well, I was able to take this little tiny piece and place it right on the stem area and die cut just that. So you don't need to die cut the entire thing. I die cut the pumpkin and then I did the leaves and the stem in the colors I wanted. So like here's the leaves, but I did a bigger piece and I got the stem too because I thought I could use the stem on another project. Because a green stem, that would be fine for a pumpkin. So I have that. And then for the leaves, you just take out, I know for this one, there's 3 pieces. So you just look at your dies, and when you're cutting them, you can see pretty easily The other leaf had 2 pieces. So you can see pretty easily on this one. Like this one has 3 pieces and this one has 2. So this stem piece, it had that 1 piece that goes in the center. That's it. And then you have the 5 pieces of the pumpkin and the 2 for the back end. So that's what is really great about all those little pieces. Like I have just a box, or a little tiny drawer filled with all these little pieces, and this is what I can use them for. For paper piecing, I use them for little accents on cards and things. So here's the pumpkin, and I want to show you, I'm not going to cut the whole thing, but I'm going to show you how to cut. Not that you don't know, but on this particular pattern, it has all this lacy stuff. So you're just going to cut around just to leave a little outline of the pumpkin. And I just cut, sometimes I cut closer and sometimes I cut farther away, because no pumpkin is perfect, right? They're all kind of odd shapes. But I just cut it out. So you cut around the entire thing. So you end up with this one. Okay. So you end up with the shape. And see, this one out of the copper, that's going to be so pretty with other colors inside it. But when I created this card, I used black, and I honestly think I like the black the best. But this one I think is beautiful with the, let me get all those little pieces out of the way. This is a stem. This one is beautiful. I love these colors, and it's pretty with the black. So you can put these pieces in, and you just have to, like, they're not exactly the same, so you have to make sure which goes on which side. But isn't that pretty? I think this one goes here. I love it with the watercolor. And so this is the only one I did without total foil. But I love that pop of color. And I should have done it on something so I could bring it up close. So I'm going to pick it up carefully. Okay. I'm going to put all those, I'll redo it. So you can do it, you can do this with pattern paper. I just love foil, so that's what made me think of doing it this way. And when I did this first pumpkin, because this is the first single pumpkin I didn't save those 2 little tiny pieces because it didn't occur to me that I really needed those. So I have to recut those 2 little tiny pieces. But isn't that pretty? Like, I love that. I think that is beautiful. But I'm going to show you how I did this one. So for this one, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to use my sticker maker and I'm going to put everything through, and it'll be so easy to lay the outline of the pumpkin down and put all the pieces in. Well, it almost worked perfectly. The sticker maker, like when I put the pumpkin through, this is so fine, and it kind of stretched a tiny bit, so like it didn't fit perfectly. So I have a little tiny, I don't even know if you can see it, but there's a little tiny bit of white showing. So I didn't like that. So of course I got my glue out, but the sticker maker would works perfectly for all of the other pieces. So for this part, I would just glue that down. And I like to use, like, I always take the lid off, and I use a craft stick. It is just so much easier for me to do it this way. And I'll make sure I have it going the right way. And you can see like that is cut pretty fine, but still it's enough of an outline to have those pieces fit. And with a craft stick, even though this glue has such a tiny point, I just get more accurate, and I'm more in control of how much glue I'm using if I use these craft sticks. So it's just, and I thought this way I'm not going to disrupt the shape at all. Like when I put it through the sticker maker, not that it disrupted the shape, but when I laid it down, it was pretty immediate, and I think it just kind of got out of whack. Now with this, I'm able to just tap it and put it in place. And when I craft, I use these card bases a lot because I love the scalloped edge. When I actually have my die cutting machine out and I'm cutting it, I'll cut like 20 of them, and I just have them on hand. Because this is just white cardstock that I cut into 4s. And then I just kind of cut a bunch of them at once. So here are all the pieces I'm going to use. So this is the stem. I'll show it to you that way. That's the stem. And it's the gold. And like I said, this is a good way to use up your bits and pieces of foiled paper. And then there really is no waste. I think I even have I've got a tweezers out. And I'm working upside down, so those paper pieces fit just perfectly in that die cut that you cut. And these are quick and easy to do. The hard part is the little tiny pieces, but I think it's so worth it to have this beautiful result. So you just take, I want to make sure this one goes on this side. Yep. So it's just like putting little puzzle pieces together now. And the sticker maker would work perfectly for these bigger pieces, just not the outside of the pumpkin. So you do that for the whole pumpkin, and then I'm going to show you how the leaves go in. Like this is, they just fit right inside there, and then you have that black showing through. So you just save those little tiny pieces and put them through. And on this one goes right down there. So that's how easy it is to put this together. I mean, the little pieces if they give you trouble, like here's the tiny little pieces for up here, but they just add the perfect touch to create that. So you just build up the whole thing. I cut an extra leaf. I took a little tiny piece of black and cut an extra leaf to put down here at the bottom. And then I took this sentiment, which is from Stamplerations also, and it is actually a sentiment that says thankful every day. And I didn't want the everyday on there, so I just cut that part off and had that. And I just attached that to the top and layered it with a piece of black cardstock and put it on white. But this is a great way to use like the pieces that didn't turn out perfect. Over here I have from that gold one, I have this, and you can see, I don't know if you can see, but there's pieces of black showing through, and that's because this was the roses one. So this was done with the roses. So you get a lot of gold and just little tiny bits and pieces of black. And that makes it look kind of distressed, which is kind of cool too. And here's the, I kept it together. Here's the rest of it. I haven't cut it apart because I actually did the whole thing because I thought, oh, that would be a beautiful card too, just like that. That would be just stunning with the black and gold. And if you wanted to do a card like this, I have this cream and brown one that I did, and you could just add accents and put the pumpkin and the leaves and the stem and leave the rest like that. That would look pretty too. So there's lots of options, but to look at your dies differently, because I love this die. I mean, I think it is fabulous, but it's the pumpkin that just really stands out for me. And so you can die cut it and use it just like this, or do it like the paper piecing way. So I'm going to bring Lisa back in. I'm going to change my camera to and then bring Lisa back in. And then I'll try and read some of my comments while I'm waiting for Lisa. And turn my camera back around. What did you guys think? Love not wasting anything, right? I mean, I do. I save a lot of things most people would maybe throw away. I don't know. Hi.
Hey.
So,
okay, I wanted to answer a couple questions real quick.
Okay.
I did put it in, but Eva asked about the name of the glue, and you used the Ultra Bond from ThermoWeb, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one? Okay.
Yep.
Now, also, Rebecca was...
I want to show you the cool part of it. Okay. So, like, I saw that you put in there, it had metal tips.
Yeah, I was just going to show the tip.
It has a tiny tip, and inside the cover, when you close it, it keeps that tip open.
Yes.
There's a little, yeah. So you show them the tips.
Yeah, in the cap. And then they also sell these little tiny tips that you can put. This is not, well, actually, yeah, it is how you do it, where you put it on top and then you screw it on to the top. And this I have just found out recently will fit on other glues if
Oh,
they have this certain type of tip on it.
the
The metal
pointy.
glues, the metal tips will fit on there, and they are super. I don't know if you can see that.
It's so
The,
fine.
the,
I mean, it's
they
like,
are
it would be perfect for the outline of this pumpkin. I mean, it would.
yes,
I have just forever, and maybe it's from teaching classes and having all these women in my house and teaching and stuff. I
yeah,
have always had the top off, and I give everybody a craft stick. I pour glue out for them, and so yeah. Hi, Eileen Hall. Nice to see you, my friend.
oh, there she is. Hey, Eileen. Hey, girl. Yeah, it is, I mean, we all craft our own ways, and we have things that, we use certain things, certain techniques that we've been using, I
Mhm.
still use techniques that my mom taught me when I was a kid. So, that's how I still
I
make
know.
bows. I still tie bows the way my mom taught me when I was a kid. When other people are like, how do you do it like that? Well, that's how my mom taught me, and that's all I know. So, you
Mhm.
know, we
But
all
those
like
pine
those.
tips, they work awesome. They do.
Yeah, they do.
I've used them at the shows and stuff. But just when I'm in my studio, I always grab my craft stick.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
know.
she does.
So, were there any other questions? I'll go through and I'll answer the questions.
Yeah, I did not see any other ones. I think those are the only ones that I saw. Now,
Okay.
that is just beautiful.
It is. I mean, it's a great way to use up all those little bits and pieces, and it
I
is a lot
know.
of fine. You have those little tiny pieces, but they fit in there like a puzzle piece.
Yep.
So,
But you know what I say? All those little details are the things that always make the
they are.
project.
They are. I mean, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
why I put the little
beautiful.
leaves on there. Yeah.
Where is the die from? Dorothy
The
wants
die
to know.
is from Stamplerations.
Yes.
It is a Stampleration die, and so was the sentiment. So it's this pumpkin die.
Yeah. Yeah, we did stamplerations. We've done them a couple times. Sherry's really, really nice lady. We like her.
Yes. And Sharon, yes, all those little pieces shouldn't be thrown away. No, I have, well, as you can see back here, I have tons of little tiny drawers and I have
Yep.
little things in all of them. And yeah, because those little bits and pieces can add something special to another project.
Yes. Yes. And what I do too is, because I save a lot of my pieces too. And then, I'll save things until there's like so much of it. And then it's like,
Mhm.
okay, it's time to purge a little bit. And then, then I'll start again. But
Yeah,
that was a great technique. I loved that. And what a great way to, another way to use you know, your foil papers. And
hmm,
then also a great new way to use your dies
right.
by
I
using
mean,
paper. Yeah.
because yeah, I mean, look at how big that pumpkin is, and it's
Yep.
perfect. I mean, I love the entire die. I honestly do. But
It is
this
stunning.
pumpkin is just, it was just too cool not to play with another way,
Exactly.
you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'll go through and I'll read all your comments.
Bye, Debbie.
Lisa, did you have the winner from last week?
Yes, I do. I forgot to tell you. So yes, I do have
That's
her.
why I said, do you?
Actually, I didn't see her in here, but she was a new viewer from last week.
Oh,
So
fun.
which I thought was really cool. But her name is Paula Clark. So
Oh, okay. Holly?
Paula.
Paula. Okay.
Paula
Paula.
Clark, yep. And she won the $25 gift certificate from Your Next Stamp, which was last week.
Last week. And
Yes.
I see Aaron asked if my papers are in stock in my site? Yes, they are, Erin. I have,
Yeah, I told her.
okay, yes, they are in my site. And this week we are giving away a $20 gift card to my site. So you can shop and get papers or whatever. And you enter by like, commenting, and sharing with the hashtag BellaCrafts.
Yep.
And that's how we randomly pick winners every single week.
Yep.
And next week we are doing an interview. You are going to want to be here for this. It will be at 2:00 Central Time.
Mm-hmm.
And the new issue, the fall issue of the magazine comes out next week. When you see it, you'll know who our interview person is.
Yeah, and you're not going to want to miss her because she's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Well, all of our interviews so far have been pretty incredible. So we are blessed. We are blessed that we know so many awesome designers.
Yes, it is.
Well,
It is a blessing, honestly.
yeah.
So, Eva from Finland, hi. Nice to have you here.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see new people. It's funny because in this Facebook thing,
Yeah.
it shows up as nobody watching. So I see people in here, so at least I know.
Yeah.
So, oh, Eileen, you're intrigued. You know her. You'll know who she is.
Oh, yeah.
But,
yeah. $10, I'll tell you, Eileen. Or ship me one of your new dyes. Just kidding, Eileen. Just kidding.
yeah. She has some new, wonderful, beautiful dyes out.
Yeah,
So,
she does. I totally love that truck.
Oh, the Christmas one? Yeah.
Yes, totally love that truck. I might have to get that to match my little camper that I got of hers last time. Yes, Eileen.
Oh, I'm glad you sold some out. Yay. I knew that
Yay.
you were on
That's awesome.
the Craft Channel in the UK, and I saw that they sold out too. So that
Oh,
was awesome.
awesome.
That was awesome.
Oh, congratulations, yeah. Eileen. Did not know that, girl. Yay for you.
Yeah. No.
She's such a wonderful friend.
She
oh
is.
My God, love her.
Is. So, well, that's it for us today. I know that we have spent a great time with you guys today.
Yeah.
But it's been wonderful. I hope you like the technique.
It was
give it
awesome.
a try. If you give it a try, put a picture of your project in our group because we want to see them. Now the rest are stuck on a container somewhere. Yes, Eileen.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'll bet. I hope they come before Christmas so people can get them.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yes. Yes,
we will say a prayer to the container gods that it gets where it needs to go. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, so, well, thank you, everyone. We will see you next week at 2:00 Central Time with an interview of a crafty person you're going to want to see.
Yep.
So, thank you, everybody. And until then,
don't forget to take some time to craft because it's good for your soul.
Always.
It really is. All right,
bye,
you
everyone.
guys. Bye.